Hi, my name is Amy Collins, and this is Free Advice Friday for July 10th, 2020. I want to remind everyone that if you're catching this live on Facebook or if you are watching it as a replay, either on YouTube or somewhere on the internet, that the way to actually join us live every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern is to go to freeadvicefridays.com. There's the URL right there, freeadvicefridays.com. It will allow you to sign up for our free consulting sessions. I offer an hour of free consulting every Friday. It's pretty much whatever questions you guys have. I also get emailed questions over the week at questions at Free Advice Friday, questions at freeadvicefridays.com. Got to remember that S. Um, that will allow me to answer questions that get emailed in over the week. I want to start because there were two questions that were asked last week that I didn't know the answer to. One, and so what I do, for those of you who may be new to Free Advice Fridays, if you are joining us for the very first time, please know that you can drop questions into the Q&A box right there on the Zoom webinar. If you're not a member of our Zoom webinar, all you need to do is go to freeadvicefridays.com, sign up. Next week you can be. I do occasionally grab questions if I can. I'm looking at the questions on Facebook. We're also presenting Facebook Live, and if I get a chance, I will absolutely answer those as well. Two of the questions that were asked last week, I didn't know the answer to. And as I started by saying, if you're new to joining us, if I don't know the answer, I just admit it outright. Keri Barnum, that also does Free Advice Fridays some weeks. We're trading off now every other week, give or take. It depends on her schedule. Last week was her birthday, so I did last week. Make sure you wish her a happy birthday when she does this next week, guys. I think she's maybe 15 now. It's stunning how far she's come in such a young age. All right, so the questions that were asked that I didn't know the answer to, I did a little bit of research and I do know the answer now. So I'm just going to wait a few minutes because Sarah was one of the people who asked one of the questions. I'm going to see if they hop on, but I will ask you about them. All right. So I have messages coming in. Wendy, you did not get the link to Keri. You know why? I didn't send it. The truth is, I forgot, and that's on me, and I apologize. Keri and I talked about you. We'd like, and I forgot to send you the link to the meeting. So there you go. All right. If you guys have any questions, please drop them in the Q&A box. I see there's a few there, but I'm going to start with a question that was emailed to me this week by Patricia. And I believe Patricia's on this morning. So yes, thank you, Patricia, for emailing me. Patricia is thinking of self-publishing a children's picture book, but also a chapter book. What are some of the ways you can market a children's book on a budget? Now, Pat, I believe we answered this last week, but I'm happy to answer it again. For those of you who are interested in catching past issues, just go, if you would, freeadvicefridays.com. There's a big link there. So you can either watch it right there on the webpage or on our YouTube channel. But Pat, I'm happy to go over this again. If you're going to market children's books, here are some of the things that are working today. Now, this advice may not, if you're watching this a year from now, this advice may no longer be prevalent or appropriate. But at the moment, what really works when you're marketing a children's book is the following. You have to get legitimate, independent, autonomous, third-party reviews. You have to get reviews from noted magazines and reviewers and bloggers and experts in the children's literary world. If you've written a chapter book, make sure that you go after the reviewers who were raving about, there's so many wonderful chapter books that are coming out right now. There's old school ones like Juna B. Jones and Magic Treehouse that a lot of people may remember, but those are 20 years old. So I would recommend to start. You immediately go and take a look at the picture books and the chapter books that are doing very well right now. Don't be surprised if the vast majority of picture books that are doing well, that are on the bestseller list, are all connected to famous people. There is a phenomenon, it's been going on for a number of years now, but children's books being written by music stars, movie stars, television stars, they're being top illustrated. They are bumping up and they are crowding the bestseller lists. However, they're still getting the reviews that you need to go for. Now, you may ask, how do you get reviews? That's more than I can get into on a Free Advice Friday, but there are tons of resources out there, including one of my favorites. You guys have heard me talk about Sandra Beckwith, and I'm going to drop her into the chat box right now. BuildBookBuzz.com. She wrote a fantastic article just this week on thebookdesigner.com. Sandra Beckwith, also check out thebookdesigner.com. I write for them as well. But Sandra wrote this fantastic article making sure that you do not confuse a book review from a book endorsement. So to start, you need good, strong reviews. In addition to that, you absolutely need to get word of mouth going. And parents and teachers will not just find your book. So once you get some of the legitimate reviews going at School Library Journal or Library Journal or Parents Magazine or any one of the, go to People Magazine, I don't care. But once you start getting some good reviews, if you can get them, they're very difficult to get. Your next step is to get endorsements and testimonials. So go to pediatricians, go to doctors, go to reading specialists, go to teachers. Ask them if they will read your book or at least read through it and give you their honest opinion of the book. So that is the second thing that you need to do. Then when you get these testimonials, when you get these reviews, don't be shy. Start sharing them on social media, use them in advertising, put them up on big colorful blocks on Instagram and Facebook. Let the world know that these teachers or these doctors or these reading specialists or these parents, these grandparents, I don't care what they are. I don't care if they're dog walkers, but this group of people thinks your books rock. So those are the first two things to do. And the third and also almost equally important is that once you've got the reviews, once you've got the testimonials, once you have proof that your books are good, get the word out in advertising, get the word out on social media. Gone, I'm afraid, are the days right now. It is not necessary, nor is it a good idea to try and book reading school times, story times at bookstores, libraries. The way to get someone's attention, and it's the parents, the grandparents, the aunts, the uncles, that's whose attention you're trying to get right now. Getting word of mouth going by getting people to talk about your book, especially online. That is how I would focus right now for at least the next 6 months if I was in charge of your marketing campaign. If you guys have any questions about how to run a marketing campaign, remember that Keri at New Shelves Books, Keri Barnum, she's the executive director of New Shelves Books. She is happy to answer your questions. You can reach out to her at info, I-N-F-O, at newshelves.com, info@newshelves.com, and ask her about some of the programs that she's got. New Shelves is relaunching their website. I've been promising it for a month now, but we're getting there, where we'll have a lot more information soon. All right. Wendy has a couple of questions about pre-order and rapid releasing. Wendy, I'll get to that in just a moment, but I want to hop down because I see a question that's kind of similar to the one I just answered. And I want to talk about the question that's below. What recommendations and steps do you have for launching a second edition? So, Stephen, my answer is almost the same. At this point in time, right now, it is, if you have the second edition I know your book, but a second edition for your particular book, what is the reason for the second edition? What is the selling point? Is it all new and updated information? Do you have a foreword by a famous person? There needs to be a selling hook. And so you find that hook. And the hook cannot be, and this is not the case for you, but for a lot of people, the second edition is, well, I tried to publish my first book and I learned a lot of things and I realized how many mistakes I'd made. So I fixed all those mistakes and now this is my second edition. That's great, but that's not the reader's problem, nor is the reader going to be particular. That's not a hook for the reader or the purchaser. You need to find why the second edition and ask yourself, why is the second edition so needed, so powerful? Yes, it's a second chance to get your book out there, but that doesn't change any of the rules of marketing. So the first, you guys have heard my 7 questions, right? You know what? I'm going to open that up because it's been a while since I've gone over them. Because Stephen, this will be, I think, this will be very appropriate for your question and a number of other, all right, a number of other people as well. I have a document that I have put together called the 7 statements. It may have been 7 questions. Hold on, let me find it real quick. So let's see, what can I talk about while I'm looking this up? Because I think you guys are going to find this helpful and I really want to get this to you. So we're going to go to Dropbox and I will put this up online. Here we go. Let's see. 7 statements. It is the 7 statements. Here are, when you're thinking about marketing your book, Stephen, this is appropriate for you. It's also appropriate for the person who's asking about children's books. Let me open this up real quick. I want you guys to ask yourself the following things. There's 7 statements that you need to be able to answer. So I'm going to turn my attention and I'm going to get this over here. The first thing that you need to be able to answer in just a few words, I want you to, and you guys have heard me talk about this before, picture that you're at a cocktail party and that somebody is asking you questions about your book. What is your book about? 1 sentence, a short sentence. What is your book about? Let me grab a book from here on my, okay, let's see. Here's a book that was just sitting, I didn't know I was going to do this, but a book that's sitting on my Penance, a novel by Edward Hunt. Ed Hunt is a New Shelves client and a very talented writer. So if someone asks, what is your book about? Ed might say, well, Penance is the first book. It's a true crime. Excuse me. Penance is a crime novel. It's the first of a 5-book series. That's it. That's all he needs to say. Now, what many authors do is they go on and on and on and they explain. Let me see what Edward could also say. Story about the race to find Lori Doyle. 10 years ago, Lori, as a teenager, witnessed a killing. Today, she's established a new life for herself. No, that's not what marketing is. Marketing is, I've got a crime novel. It's the first in a series. It's award-winning. Done. That's all people need to know at the beginning. If they want to know more, they will ask. The next thing I need you to ask yourself right now is, who wants to buy a book like yours? The question is not who needs your book or anything like that, but who could, for Stephen, for you in particular, who could use your book? Who wants and could use information that you're offering? Who is that? And will they actually buy a book on the subject? And this is a big, scary question to ask yourself. Will they buy a book on this subject, or do they just want to read a magazine article about it? Do they just want to Google it, watch a quick YouTube video? Do they need an entire book on your topic? And if they do, and here's the marketing hook for you for your 2nd edition, why is this book so necessary? Why can't they just watch a YouTube channel? Why can't they just, why can't you just write a blog about it and they can just read that? Why do they need to give you $18 or $17 or $20 or $14, whatever the price is, for a book? You need to be able to answer that question. So 1 sentence, what's your book about? Who does it help? Who's going to need a book like this? Do they actually buy books? And if they do buy books, why should they buy yours? Why is your book why is it necessary for them to buy? Fiction or nonfiction? You need to be able to answer that question. And then here's a big question. Are there other books out there with a similar readership, a similar market? See, when people say, are there books out there like mine? Every author wants to say, well, there's no books like mine. I get that. There are no books like yours. But is there a readership that you share? And who are they reading? And where are those books for sale? If everyone who needs your book already owns a copy of What Color is Your Parachute, which is a great book, but it's 30 years old at this point? What Color is Your Parachute is a very old book. So why, if they've got What Color is Your Parachute, and if it's been working for 30 years, what makes your book different? Why do they need your book? Once you can answer all of those questions, believe it or not, that was 7 questions. Where are the books being sold? Who is the shared audience? What books are they reading? Where are those books, as I said, being sold? What is your book? Once you can answer all of those questions and make all of those statements, you then have a marketing message. And you get that marketing message out on social media. You get it out with a lot of advertising. You use keywords. You use comp title research. You reach out to those authors and you ask them for endorsements and testimonials. You reach out to their readers and you ask them for reviews. You ask them if they'd like to read your book for free so that perhaps they want to recommend it. That is how to move a second edition. A second edition launch is exactly the same as a first edition launch. Reviews, testimonials, knowing exactly who your readership is and where they buy books, and then going to those places and reaching out to those readers. It's pretty simple, guys. It's not easy, but it is simple. All right. How are you guys doing this morning? Let's go to the chat box and let's go to Facebook and see if there's any comments. Let's see how everyone's doing this morning. I see we've got Linda on the call. Good morning, Tara. Got my St. Louis crew. Good to see you guys. Let's see. Yeah, no, it looks good. It looks good. All right. I don't see any comments at all on the Facebook group. So let me just double check and I will hop back to the online questions that are being asked right in our group. I haven't even gotten a good morning on the Free Advice Friday Facebook Live. That makes me sad. All right, so Wendy Vanderpool, excuse me, I used your last name, sorry, Wendy. But you will notice I'm wearing our earrings. I hope that helps. Wendy says, she says, good morning, darling. Good morning to you, sweetums. Talk to me about rapid releasing a series. Do you recommend it? And please address pre-order. All right, happy to. Now, Wendy has a new Cozy Mystery series. Wendy, I assume you're talking about the Cozy Mystery series. If you'd go to the chat box and just let me know that's the one you're talking about as opposed to your pet series, I'll be grateful. But Wendy has a brand new series. She is a talented, well-known, successful author in another genre. She's got kids' books and she's got a number of award-winning and highly regarded books in the nonfiction and pet world. But she has taken her writing talent and she has moved into a new area, a new genre, the cozy mystery genre. Now, there's a lot of pitfalls when you go from being a nonfiction or a children's book author to a grown-up author in the fiction world. One of them is, in almost all cases, you need to relearn how to get your point across, because in grown-up fiction, especially in mysteries, you want to take the reader with you. You want to show them the path and have them journey with you. In a nonfiction book about grieving the loss of a pet or elderly pets, or that's in a nonfiction book, what you want to do is you want to tell people. You don't show them the way and walk next to them. You actually take their hand and you lead them. These are two different styles. Wendy has navigated that part beautifully so far, and now she's ready to launch her books, and she wants to rapid release a series. I got to tell you, as a marketing person, I'm not a big fan of releasing book after book after book just within a few weeks. Now, rapid release in my mind is 3 books or more all released within a 4 to 6 week period, released within maybe 2 weeks of each other. If that's not what you meant, Wendy, jump in and let me know. Wendy, what I would recommend for releasing a series like yours is a 90-day rollout. You release the first book, you spend 90 days getting online reviews on Barnes & Noble and Chapters Indigo and Amazon and getting online reviews everywhere. And you roll out the first book for 90 days. At the end of 90 days, you start pitching that book to bookstores and libraries, and you release the second book. The second book in your series, and you spend 90 days going nuts trying to get word of mouth going, promoting it on social media, focusing on book 2 in the series, and then 90 days later, your third book. If it were up to me, every book deserves its own attention. I know people want to get everything out. They want everything today. But you're going to learn so much about your market and everyone. I mean, even James Patterson, who's been in the game forever, he is constantly learning and changing. And blowing your wad, as it were, by throwing all the books out in a 2 or 3 week period, it seems to me dangerous and unnecessary. There is no reason to rush. Wendy, I love you, and I believe that I would know if you were ill. So unless you've got 3 weeks to live, can we slow down a little bit? Put one book out, put it out properly, advertise it, market it, get reviews, get word of mouth, get a bunch of 5 stars, get other cozy mystery writers that you like to see, and for you to email them and ask them if they would read a copy of your book. Then when book 2 comes out in 90 days, you've got some legitimacy. And then the author starts seeing your second book. If you start banging out one book after another within a few week period, you're going to look like one of the authors who is trying to just churn out books. Now, Wendy, I got no problem with that. Well, that's a little casual even for me. I have no problem with authors that churn out a book a month. Zero problem with that. But that is a very, very different audience than the cozy mystery audience. If you are trying to build a legitimate long-term relationship with your readers and a legitimate long-term career as a publisher and as an author, you're going to need to give every book a minimum of 3 months. I'd like to see 6, but I'll take 3. So I'm not a big fan of churning out books and doing a rapid release, even though they're all ready and that they're all done, because you have to find your readership for each book. Now, to announce that you've got book 1 coming out in August, book 2 coming out in November or December, and book 3 coming out in April, and letting the world know that the books are written, that they're already in production, that's going to make your readers very comfortable about, because a lot of readers don't like to read an author until a couple of books have come out. But Wendy, there's no rushing this. It's one book at a time. Second question is about pre-orders. And I'm gonna push back on you, Wendy. I'm gonna push back. I'm gonna ask you to go to the Q&A or to the chat box, and I want you to jot in there, and I'll answer your question in a minute. But why do you want to pre-order? What are your goals for pre-ordering? I'm happy to answer your question. But any of you guys who are interested in getting your book up online for pre-order, please go to the chat box and tell me why. Tell me what it is you want to get out of that. And then I will answer the pre-order question in a few moments. All right. Let's get to more questions that are happening, and then I will answer the pre-order question in a minute. All right. Let's see. Anonymous isn't asking, what resources would you recommend for a mental game of success? I actually have, I can only give you the things that I'm very, very fond of. But for me, to keep my energy up, to keep my focus up, to keep my my hope and to keep my burnout at a minimum, there are a lot of experts out there that I lean on. Arianna Huffington is one. And her Thrive, Thrive, her Thrive programs, there's a podcast, there's blogs, but Arianna Huffington, I would strongly recommend leaning, going and checking her out. I'm a big fan of what she offers. Ashton Kutcher, the actor from that 70s show. The man has written some fantastic articles about keeping sharp, keeping engaged, about success, what success means. Big fan. Seth Godin. I read a lot of Seth Godin, and I do not have time to read all of his, let's see, ESET is asking me to do an update, so we're just going to ignore that for right now. Okay, go away, ESET. For those of you who are interested in who I use for spam and internet safety and protecting my computers, apparently I use ESET. So Seth Godin, Arianna Huffington, Ashton Kutcher. I read Fast Company. Fast Company is a magazine that it's changed a little bit in the last year or so, but still there's some good pearls there. And truthfully, for me, I spend time every single morning, and I don't, whatever your spiritual belief is, but I spend time in the morning asking, we're going to use the word, for lack of a better word, we're going to say the world. I ask the world. Some people call it God, some people say the universe. I don't care what you call it. But I ask the world every morning to direct my thinking and to have me see what it is and to have me be able to be aware of what it is I'm supposed to learn that day. And I got to tell you, the days that I do that, I have so much more focus and energy, and I learn so much more than the days I forget. So, Anonymous, I would start by saying, ask. Every day, just ask. What is it I'm supposed to learn today? What is it I'm supposed to, help me to focus on what it is I'm supposed to discover, and then just go on with your day. But those are some of the resources that I use and that I really like. I hope those are helpful to you guys. All right. Stephen, good morning. He's saying good morning to me. Good morning to you too. Stephen wants to know how I would recommend getting testimonials from everyday people with Amazon and other venues. All right, let's get into this again. I would not recommend asking everyday people for Amazon reviews. If you want to encourage people to review your book, keep it very general. Ask them to, and phrases like this: if you enjoyed my book, or if you enjoyed reading this chapter, if you enjoyed reading this sample, may I suggest that you please feel free to leave a review online, on your website, perhaps on the bottom of your emails, on your social media platforms. Put a link to a landing page on your website. Now, I have one of these, and if you went to my email, you would see that at the bottom of my email is all the different places where you can review my book. Create a landing page, Stephen, where people can find your book on Amazon, they can find your book on Barnes & Noble, they can find it on Goodreads, they can find it on Google Books, they can find it everywhere. Please do not ask people to write an Amazon review. It is against Amazon's rules. It is offensive to other retailers. So being able to say, if you enjoyed my book, if you enjoyed this sample chapter, if you enjoyed this excerpt, may I strongly recommend that you go online and leave a review. People know where they want to leave online reviews. When I go to a restaurant, I know to leave a review on Yelp. When I read a book, I know I want to leave a review on some of the sites that I shop on more frequently. There's Bookshop, there's IndieBound still, there's Amazon, Chapters Indigo, Barnes & Noble, there's Kobo. There's tons of places where people can leave online reviews. So simply suggest to them to leave an online review. And here's the big thing. I just did this. I sent out a social media post and a newsletter for a client of mine. Now, this is not a book client. I've got a dear friend who I adore who owns a fantastic guitar and music store here in Rochester, New York. And the man wasn't even on the internet. He didn't have, and so what I've started doing is I've started asking people, because he's been in business, this store's been around for 60 years. 60 years. His father started it. But he had no reviews on Yelp, no reviews on Google, nothing. It's like the internet didn't exist for this man. Not going to mention his name because, well, he's adorable. But, oh, it was so frustrating. So I helped him out. He's an old friend. I bought all my guitars from him. And so I built him a page. I did some stuff. I say he's a client. He's a friend. And what I did was I sent out a newsletter to his new newsletter list, which I'd helped him build, on MailChimp, and I said, I could really use some help online. If you enjoyed shopping at Stutzman's Guitar Center, would you consider please going online and writing a review? Here's all the places. Here's the link. You can do it on Yelp. You can do it on Google. You can do it anywhere you want. Reverb, put it anywhere you want. So I gave him all the options. And I said, if you don't know how to get started with a review, may I suggest you just answer the following questions. I went to Stutzman's Guitar Shop because I was surprised when I got there what I really liked about buying my guitar or getting my guitar fixed from Dave was this. So I asked them to answer 3 to 5 questions. I said, if you can answer any of these questions, just go take that statement, that answer, and type it in online, and there's your review. Leave as many stars as you want. I'm not telling you how many stars, but Stephen, the same thing is true for you. All of us will get a lot more reviews if we help our readers write the reviews by giving them little questions to ask. So many writers forget that our readers are not writers. They get tongue-tied. They don't know what to say. They don't know what to write. They're nervous about what it is they're going to put out there. So help them along. Stephen, I would strongly recommend that you come up with a series of sample questions that will help people write their testimonials, and you'll probably get a lot more testimonials than you've got now. And the same is true for even authors, and readers, and saying, you can send out emails saying, I'm happy, here's a book funnel link. You can get a free copy of my ebook. And if you like it, I'd love to hear what you have to say. Here's a couple of questions that if you don't know how to get started, perhaps these will help you think. Karen is asking if I can post the 7 questions. I absolutely can. I'd be happy to. I will also post them on Free Advice Friday. Let's see, the 7, let me spell it right. Statements, it was the 7 statements that you need to be able to make. I will absolutely repost that. I found it before pretty easily. I will send them to you guys now. And copy, and I'm dropping it into the chat box, guys. I hope that works. All right. I'll also put them on freeadvicefridays.com. All right, let's talk about pre-orders. Let me go back to the chat box. Yes, Fast Company. Pre-order. One piece of advice is that once a novel in a series is live, make sure the sequel is available for pre-order, even if it's not written yet. Okay, Jules, I do not know you, but you are my new best friend. Jules, that's gold. That is brilliant. I've never even thought of that. I am embarrassed to say, Jules, that is terrific advice. So there is a very good reason for pre-order. So Wendy, you've got 3 books coming out. If you're not going to fast release them, listen to Jules. That is brilliant. Jules Mermelstein. Wow, I'm your new biggest fan. I love that. Donna is saying the same thing. Donna used her pre-order to get reviewers to review a 2nd edition to get Amazon's attention. That's a good idea for pre-order. I personally am not a big fan of pre-order for those reasons. Amazon has significantly altered how it does ranking and how it shows book sales. And your ranking, if you want to get a reader's attention and be in the top 10 of your category, then pre-sales are going to work against you, because if you put your book up for pre-sale, let's say 2 months before it's available, Amazon starts the clock at that point. So 2 months later, when your book comes out and you've sold 130 copies, Amazon is going to rank you as though you sold 130 copies over a 60-day period. They no longer count that 130 copies for the first day. Now, if you do a pre-order campaign, especially for your ebook, and you make sure that pre-orders are available on Apple and Kobo, Nook, and Amazon, and you hit it hard, and you sell and you pre-order 8, 9, 10,000 copies of your ebook, there's a really good chance you'll end up on the USA Today bestseller list. So that's a very good reason why you'd want to do pre-orders. But if you're all Amazon all the time, it's not going to work, because USA Today list won't list a book that's only available on Amazon. You have to have, I think it's about 10% of your sales, at least 500, 600 of them, have to be in venues that are outside of Amazon. So there are some very, very good reasons that I didn't even have to come up with, that Donna and Jules suggested. And Katie, I completely agree with you. You can start generating interest with pre-order, but you can also start generating interest on social media. And I don't like the downside of pre-ordering and all the things that come with that. You then have to fight your way through a whole bunch of algorithms. The other reason why pre-ordering is tough is that, but I do like this, is if you make your ebook available 3 weeks or 3 to 4 weeks at the most, I prefer 3, before your paperback or hardcover is available, you can start getting reviews up on Amazon. So for those of you who want to get reviews from your 2nd edition first edition onto your second edition. You can port them over by getting the ebook up 3 weeks before the paperback. Simply just ask Amazon. You can do it through Author Central, but ask Amazon to copy the reviews from edition 1 to edition 2, and you can get that done with the ebook and then sync it up with the paperback without having to worry about pre-orders. So that is my deal on pre-orders. And I actually was less of a fan of pre-orders than I am now. I mean, I'm more of a fan now because of what Katie and Jules just said. I actually hadn't thought of that. All right. Yeah, Wendy, I see that you're please, let's talk. Before you make any decisions, let's get you and me and Keri, or at least you and Keri, on a call. All right. Karen is saying, what's the best way to utilize Amazon paid marketing? Well, it depends on your category, Karen. If you've written a romance novel, the best way to use Amazon paid marketing is to not do it. I got to tell you, we are having the toughest time with romance and with women's fiction in some of the categories where Amazon itself publishes really heavily. No matter how much money we seem to throw at advertising, we're having now Keri Barnum, and I'm going to maybe save this question for her next week. She is far more into Amazon paid marketing right now than I am. As you guys know, in the last few weeks, I moved away from marketing more to the agenting side of the business. Keri will be here next week. But I do know that if you go to youtube.com/Amy Collins, you will see a couple of short videos that Keri has put up there. And we're going to be moving them all to our YouTube channel on Free Advice Friday as soon as we can get the URL for that. But if you go to freeadvicefridays.com and click on the follow our YouTube channel, you will see a number of videos that we have there telling you exactly how to do Amazon marketing. It's a pretty big question you're asking, but you need to have a very strong understanding of keywords. You need to know who all of your comp authors are. And by comp, I don't mean competing, I mean comparable. Who are your comparable authors? Who else is writing in your genre? And what keywords are they using? There's a lot of research that goes into it. You can't just throw it up there. You can't grab 3 similar titles and say, okay, Dan Silva and Vince Flynn, and go. It doesn't work that way. You got to work it. Keri spends hours whenever she does an Amazon campaign for a new shelves client, because she does a lot of advertising for people on Facebook and Instagram and Amazon. It takes her a long time to get it right, a lot of passes. Now, we learned, and Keri learned a lot, and I get nothing for recommending these guys, but do you guys know Kindlepreneur? Dave Chesson and Kindlepreneur? KDP, it's not KDP Rocket anymore. They call it something else now. But Karen, may I suggest that you Google Kindlepreneur and Dave Chesson? He's got a wonderful class that you can take. It's fantastic. All right. Nancy's saying, a few weeks ago, I talked about hiring services in the Philippines. Have you? Yes, Nancy, that I'm glad to see you. I actually said at the top of this hour that somebody had asked a question and I didn't know the answer to because I didn't have the name of the service that I liked the best. So I've got that right here. Hold on. I have used this particular service. I just couldn't remember the name when you asked before. I've used this particular service. I like them. This is not like using Fiverr. It's let me just grab the name because I pulled it up knowing that I was going to answer this today. There we go. And the name of the company is, I thought I typed it in. This is embarrassing. Hold on one second. Oh, for heaven's sake, virtual assistant matchmaking for busy entrepreneurs. It's virtualstafffinder.com. Let me type that in, virtualstafffinder.com. I have used them, so has several friends of mine. Staff Finder, that's 3 Fs, stafffinder.com. Using Virtual Staff Finder, the nice thing about them is you get to interview the assistants. They pay people in the Philippines a very good living. You know, $7-8 an hour will pay them $5 an hour, which is a great living over there. And they have such high quality people. And I have had a lot of luck with virtualstafffinder.com. And I would recommend, Nancy, that you start with them. I've also had some luck with People Per Hour. I'm not as big a fan of Fiverr, although I found some great design help on Fiverr. 99 Designs, I've had better luck with designers. But when it comes to marketing help, phone calls, research, virtualstafffinder.com all the way. All right. Today is Denise's birthday. All right, and Denise is giving away a free ebook of her first children's book, Violet's Voyages, on Amazon. So Denise Kahn, Kahn, for those of you who would like a free download or to listen to a free copy of a children's book, the free ebook on Amazon. Violet's Voyages, for those of you who are interested and use Kindle for children's books, go Google that on Amazon. That was a mixed metaphor, wasn't it? Google it on Amazon. Search for it on Amazon. Katrina's asking if I've heard of Bookshop, the new web store that supports independent bookstores. Yes, I have heard about them. I've signed up with them. I use them. I've shopped with them. You're asking what my thoughts are on working with it. Do it. Absolutely go for it. Register your books. Make sure that independent bookstores everywhere have your books in their database. Now, if you work with Ingram Spark, you're probably already listed on Bookshop. But Bookshop is supposedly, and we'll see, and they've only been around for 4 or 5 months, but they are a much more robust and user-friendly version of IndieBound. IndieBound, whom I love, and I love what they're doing, but Bookshop is an independent entity that has partnered with the American Booksellers Association to bring online shipping directly to the public that does not want to do business with Amazon, people who want to stay committed to their independent bookstores. And the bookstores get a very nice cut. Ingram gets a cut, Bookshop gets a cut. Katrina, I have used them. I put my books up on there, and I've actually shopped them. All 3 elements went seamlessly, smoothly, and with no problems. Katrina's also saying she's heard that Amazon now allows reviewers to leave stars only without a review. That's true. That's been the case for a couple months now. Amazon will allow you just to leave stars. Those will help your ranking, but they don't count as reviews. They're actually ranked. They're counted a little lighter, a little lower. But yes, yep. Let's see. Katrina's asking if I can restate Jewel's statement. Katrina, Jewel, if you're talking about pre-orders, Jewel mentioned that if you have another book coming out, even if it's not written, but if you know you're writing a series and you've got like books 1 and 2 out, and you know that book 3 is coming out, get a cover up there and get pre-orders going, so with a date, even if it's not finished, so that people will pre-order the book. If they really enjoyed book 1 and 2, then they'll place a pre-order for book 3 right away. Stephen, you're asking about a challenge. I am afraid I don't know I don't know anything about challenges. I do know Daniel Hall has a lot of experience. You might want to check him out. But a challenge is more of an internet marketing tactic. I'm going to use the word tactic, a scheme. And I've seen them, but I've never actually run one. So I can't really give you a lot of experience with that. All right, let's see. Oh my gosh, we have so many people attending today. I'm going to check the chat box real quick. Let's see, and Facebook, Barbara, how are you? I'm gonna wave to you on Facebook. Barbara's asking if you're coming out with a 2nd edition of a book, is that book eligible for some book awards that you're applying for? Barbara, the answer is it depends on the award. You are absolutely eligible to apply. I know to the IPPEs, they'll take a 2nd edition, no problem. Guys, I'm going to sneeze right now, so here we go. 1 second. Gesundheit. Sorry about that. But it depends on the award. I'm afraid they're all different. I don't believe you're eligible for a Pulitzer, but if you wanted something, you have to look at every site. I'm just saying, you know, are awards allowed? Some absolutely, but keep in mind, a lot of these awards are simply just money-making machines for the award presenter. Ask yourself what you want the award for, and ask booksellers, ask librarians, ask people, do they actually take that award seriously? There's a number of awards out there based in like Los Angeles and Hollywood and stuff, where they're just, you pay $100 or $150 to submit, and it's just a money-making churn for the company. And so if, Barbara, you want to submit to a legitimate award service company, I'm afraid you'll have to read, because it's different. Everyone's different. But I do know that the IPPs do allow second editions. Let's see. In the chat box, Lynn is asking if do I find awards translate into sales? Well, I'm going to ask you guys to weigh in on this in the chat box. I have found they do not. Ben Franklin's and IPPs and these sorts of things, they do not translate for me to say. Bookstores, libraries don't buy just because you've won a gold in your category or best cover or whatever. Or even if you've won best book in your category in the IPPs or the Ben Franklin's or those sorts of things. But I do know that there are awards, Newbery, Caldecott, the Booker, the Pulitzer. I mean, real, true book awards, of course they affect sales. The National Book Award, I mean, but the USA Book Award, I forget what they're called, which kind of leads people to believe it has something to do with USA Today. No, in my experience, they do not affect the sales that I make. Now, my expertise is selling to the marketplace. So no, not at all. But if you guys have awards that you've used in the past that you think will impress readers, that is different. That is outside. I'm not a publicist. I don't know as much about that, but your experience will, well, now let's see here. Tara's saying that awards are great for marketing purposes, and I'd love to hear more about that, Tara. Maybe you should do a little zing on that. Now, Tara, you've got a live session that you do, I believe, every week. If you want to drop that URL into the chat box, maybe you want to do one about awards, because I agree with what Katrina's saying. They don't affect sales, but they do translate into credibility and marketing potential if you're selective. And oh, Katrina, this is brilliant advice. You guys don't even need me. I'm just going to be here as your host. You guys can answer, because Katrina is brilliantly suggesting that you go to ALLI, ALLI. Author, it's the Alliance of Independent Author, I forget what it's called, but ALLI. Orna Ross runs this fantastic organization, and they do have a list of credible and non-credible contests, and I would definitely start at ALLI. Katrina, good advice. Very good advice. Tara's saying that if you place a medal on the cover, it draws the reader's eye when purchasing online. I agree. I agree with that, but I would say that most readers are kind of, they may be swayed by seeing a gold medal on your cover. I'm not going to, I believe, and actually what I've read is that actually is true. What I hate is when I see 5 gold medals. Guys, 1. The readers, you're either an award winner or you're not. Please do not throw 5 different awards on your front cover. Put them on the back cover. All right. Linktree. Nancy, I love Linktree. Thank you for suggesting that. Guys, go to the chat box. I'm also going to drop Linktree into the Facebook group. It's a wonderful resource that, Nancy, thank you. I'm going to drop that into Facebook as well. All right, let's see. It is 10:52. How did we get so deep into this hour? But we're doing great. I'm answering all the questions. I think you guys are doing well. Apparently my voice and my video are synced up. Now, Tara has already done a session on book awards. You guys know Tara because I trust her. I have not seen this video before. So go to the chat box, with the caveat that, Tara, I'm going to be watching it too. I have a real problem with people entering 10, 6, 10 contests in 10 different categories and spending a lot of money on content. Enter one. If you're going to, if you win or don't win, enter one. If you want a gold or a silver stamp on your cover, that's a great way to get one. You can also just put a silver stamp on your cover. I have a friend I've got a meme that I love that said you can make anything look serious if you put laurel leaves around it. If all you're trying to do is just catch the reader's eye, you don't have to pay a $125 entrance fee. Just, put a gold stamp on your cover and make it a violator on your cover and say, as seen in. I don't know, guys. Check it out. I'm going to watch Tara's YouTube. We're going to talk next week. Well, actually, I won't be here next week. Keri will be here, but I'm going to definitely look into awards and into contests because I'm not a big fan. But I trust Nancy and I trust Tara, and they both seem to be leaning towards it. So I'm an old dog. I can learn a new trick. Cheryl is asking, what can I say about my experience working with New York book editors? She saw the recommendation on the New Shelf site. We've liked them. I've never personally worked with them, but I have recommended them and my clients have used them because I don't write a lot of books. So I can't tell you that I've had an editor from New York book editors, but we have worked with them and we have shared clients. I've recommended people to them. Again, I get nothing for recommending them, and I've had 0 complaints. I've had probably 5 or 6 authors that I've worked with that have either come to me from them or I've introduced them. We've introduced each other, and they've all been happy with 0 complaints. So that is my experience. Now, the same is true for Erica McIntyre. The same is true with, Proofed to Perfection. Proofed to Perfection. It sounds like it's just a proofreading company, but they actually do deep editing. Had very good luck with them as well. So Cheryl, that's my 10 cents on that. Let's see. All right. Jill is asking, is it okay to run my first test of books, 50, and send to a group of pre-readers without my price on it? Oh, absolutely, Jill. I would strongly recommend that if you've got a barcode on the back, I put a big sticker. We've got stickers here that say compliments of New Shelves books or compliments of Amy Collins or whomever's sending it out. And we stick that right over the barcode on the back. You do not want people selling those. Don't put a price on them. Get the final proof from a local printer and the price isn't on there. Just throw a little sticker on saying compliments of, and put them on for pre-readers. And Jill, I know who you are. I'm a fan. If you've got an extra, I'd love to see one because I'd love to give you my 10 cents on the book. So send it over to me. You know how to get a hold of me. All right. Stephen's asking, when you post the recording online, do you list the chat window links? Stephen, I have not in the past, but I can. I'd be very happy to do so. Why don't I do that starting this week? I'm not going to go back because I'm lazy. But starting this week, all of these links that we're talking about, Linktree and fastcompany.com, and I'm happy to put a quick document together and I'll embed it right under the video. There you go. Wendy is saying that she loves Brian Cohen's Amazon marketing training. Wendy, how could I forget Brian? We love Brian. Yes. He's got a fantastic training and his trainings are solid and they're not expensive. And he's starting a free challenge on Monday. There you go, Stephen. Maybe you can learn from Brian's challenge. Wendy, I do not have that link, but I want you, Brian's name is spelled B-R-Y-A-N Cohen. And maybe if we were very nice to Wendy, she'd drop the Cohen, the link into the chat box. Now remember guys, you want to chat not just to panelists, but to panelists and attendees. Wendy, if you want to do that, I'll be your best friend. I may buy you snake earrings. Oh wait, I already did. All right, so Jill, yes, you're in good shape. Cheryl, you're very welcome. Brian Cohen, as well as Dave Chesham, I adore them both. I know Brian personally, and I've worked with him before. Suzanne is saying that it's best if your book is already published to participate in Brian's challenge. Again, I don't know about Brian's challenge. I didn't know he was running one, but he's a good guy with a lot of integrity and a lot of knowledge. So if anyone knows about Brian's challenge, send me the info and I will add it to freeadvicefridays.com. I will put the link under this replay. I think that I have answered all the questions. Let's see, Wendy's got there's the link. And oh, bless your heart, Wendy. I'm going to add this to the Facebook group as well. I love you guys. Jill, the sticker should actually be printed. No, it doesn't need to be printed on the book. You can go to Staples or Walmart or your local boutique stationery store and just get a sheet of Avery labels that are 2 inches by 2 inches or 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches or 2 inches by 3. I don't care what size. And they actually come, you can download the Avery template. Most of them are right in Word, and you can just make labels. That's what we do. I buy bright gold ones, and it says compliments of Amy Collins, not for resale. And they print out, and I just peel them off, and I stick them right on the back of the book. And I put them over the barcode, and if there's no barcode, then just put them someplace where you think the barcode should be. All right. Tara also put the link to Brian's challenge. Okay, so that link is on Free Advice Fridays group page on Facebook. Please join the Facebook group. I would love it if you go to freeadvicefridays.com. freeadvicefridays.com. It will give you a link to our YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe. It'll give you a link to our Facebook group. Join us. I'm always dropping hot stuff, fun stuff in there, including pictures of my dogs. But more interesting things than that. Also, that's where I've started placing most of the articles that I find interesting. And you can also watch the replays right on freeadvicefridays.com, and you can sign up to join us live where I will answer your questions. I answered Cheryl's questions. I answered Stephen. I hit up Wendy. I think I got everyone. I don't see that I missed any. It looks like they were all answered. So look at that. It's 11 o'clock and I did it. I got in right under the hour. I've been running a little late lately. Again, my name is Amy Collins. Keri Barnum will be here next week. We are here every week at 10 a.m. Eastern, freeadvicefridays.com. I am a huge fan of working with authors. I'm a huge fan of those of you who show up every week, and I want to thank you for your faith in us, and I'll see you next week on Free Advice Fridays.